Greetings everybody, it's Rob from Sage Tower Games, and we're here with another Pathfinder 2nd Edition video. And this one's going to be my review of the Pathfinder 2e Beginner Box, specifically the adventure in the Beginner Box, Menace under Otari. Now this is a non-spoiler review, so I will not be talking about any specific details about what happens in the adventure, about any of the encounters in the adventure. That way, if you're interested in picking up the box and playing it either with your friends or teaching somebody how to play it or want to play it yourself, there won't be any spoilers in this video. I have other discussions talking about my group that's playing through the beginner box on the channel. You can check those videos out where I do talk a bit more about the actual combat encounters and what happened in them for that particular group. This video, however, is non-spoiler, so you are safe. Come on in and we'll have a discussion about this adventure. Now, first let me start off with the good things I like about this adventure. The first one is it's a really solid adventure. You could definitely take this box, take this adventure, and get a few, 2, 3, 4 sessions, depending on the speed of your group, and play with. It actually can last you, depending on time and everything, a good time. And if someone wants to say, hey, I want to learn Pathfinder, take 2 or 3 sessions, you can decently level up. You get a level up and you get kind of some good experience with the combat system. And that's really good. It's not short and it doesn't go too long where you're like, your players might get bored. In my opinion, it's the right size for a good adventure, for a good like one-shot module type adventure, where you don't kind of get to that point where it's another battle. That kind of stuff doesn't happen really. On top of that, another good thing is it's quite easy to play. There's no complicated like mess with it. It's pretty straightforward in how it reads throughout the book. For the GM, it's very easy to kind of go through it and show you how the different encounters work, different rooms work. It's all laid out pretty well for you. The book explains what should happen in this room, what should happen here, and so forth. There's nothing too crazy and nothing too complicated to throw at the players right away, but the combats are still fun and engaging enough where your players will still have some good fun with it. Also, if you're playing it on virtual tabletop, Foundry, for instance, have a module version for it where you can just automatically import it, and it has all set up for you. Same I think with Fantasy Grounds, etc., to make it even easier for GMs to set it up for themselves to play it. On top of that, the Menace under Otari actually is a good one because it sets up a few different ways you could go with it. There's Abomination Vaults, for instance, is a adventure path that takes place in Otari. So your players can finish this beginner box and say they really want to play more. Well, then they can actually continue playing into this full-blown 3-book campaign to kind of get some more engaging stuff into Pathfinder, get a more full campaign. And there's no, it's in the same town. They may have already known some of the people there in the town. So it helps that kind of way of making it easy for them. There's a few other adventures around the area as well. But in my opinion, Abomination Vault is the one that's like a full campaign if you want to really run into it. And lastly, one of the really good thing is, like I said before, it teaches the combat system really well. It gives the players time to learn the 3-action system. It slowly introduces mechanic by mechanic, not overwhelming the players at all, but kind of having specific encounters to highlight certain mechanics of Pathfinder. Be it flanking, be it persistent damage, be it debuffs, and so forth. Each encounter has a different way of showcasing it, without making it seem like it's too much. Now, with that, let's talk about some of the things I don't really like about it. One, some of the DCs near the end of the book are, in my opinion, a bit too high. I feel like looking at them, it could just be the rolls of my players, but looking at their modifiers compared to the rolls, either they have unfortunately built themselves a poor character. My group didn't make their own character. You can use the pre-gens if you want. That's perfectly acceptable. But I feel like that they just didn't have the best savings throws. And some of these DCs are pretty high. not insanely high, but high enough that like they have to roll, you know, 13 plus, 15 plus if they want to pass this saving throw. And that seems a bit much. Some of the later ones might make more sense, but I feel like a few of them are really questionable in my opinion. And I don't think most of my players couldn't even pass it if they wanted to. Another thing is, there's not much social conflict in this adventure. It's a level 1 adventure. It's meant to teach them the system, which is fine. I would have liked at least 1 or 2 maybe social encounters in the adventure to kind of highlight, you know, diplomacy, highlight that kind of talk, and give the players a chance to roleplay a bit more. Yes, you can add it in as a GM, but if you're a new GM, either a new GM learning Pathfinder or picking up with new players, you may not want to overwhelm your players with a hardcore decision like that. But something simple, even just having a random NPC somewhere in the dungeon just to help spice up a little bit, may help you kind of give a little social interaction to it. Especially because a lot of Pathfinder adventures like to have a little social chapter in one of the books here or there. And another one that Colonize have for it is you do have, as a GM, you have to do a little hand-holding. The book says it for you, which like I said before, the book explains what you have to do. But there are sometimes in the book where it says you should just outright tell your party, listen, you should probably go rest. Or listen, your party should probably level up before XYZ happens. This kind of stuff. And that's fine. I have no problem with that in general. I would have liked if the points they did this were a bit more clearer. And what I mean by this is where the players can figure that out themselves, as opposed to the GM saying, stop, go rest, go sell your loot, come back next day when you're fully rested. Give them some sort of, like, I don't know, a locked door that they have to work through. It takes a day to open or something. I don't know. Some sort of like thing so that they have to go back the next day. Because I feel like if a GM doesn't plan it out correctly, your players might just push through. And if they push through, they're gonna get bopped. They need those resting moments. They need those level up times. And if you're not careful, if the GM doesn't like clearly say, here, this is for you, you know, here's a healing potion, you may need it, kind of deal, that it may be a bit rough for the players. That being said, overall, it's a really good event. So I've never played the beginner boxes before. This is my first time actually playing the beginner box for Pathfinder and running it. And I've seen the adventures before. I've scrolled through them, I've flipped through them. They look good. But actually playing through it with a group of new players who've never played Pathfinder before, ever, it actually is a really good adventure. I don't have much to complain about it. Like I just said, the social conflict stuff is maybe one thing I would like to have seen, but overall, it's, in my opinion, I highly recommend this beginner box for anybody who wishes to pick up Pathfinder, learn Pathfinder, be it if you're learning it from D&D 5e, if you're brand new to tabletop, whatever, come on in, try it out, and I think that you will have a good time playing it. If you do play the beginner box, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on it. I would love to hear you guys' feedback on the beginner box and how you either played it, how you ran it, and what your thoughts were about it. So let me know in the comments down below. And as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button and help out the channel as we continue to grow. And thank you guys for watching this video. And I hope to see you guys in some more Pathfinder 2nd edition content.